The morning was quiet, too quiet. The only sound was the low hum of the irrigation pumps and the distant bleating of sheep grazing beyond the western fence line. Jace Hunter adjusted his hat against the sun and leaned on his pitchfork, watching his son tug a toy tractor through the dirt. Then the sky split open. A deep rumble rolled through the valley, followed by streaks of red light cutting across the blue horizon. Jace froze, eyes narrowing as fiery trails descended fast, too fast for meteors. His gut turned cold. "Dad?" Liam's small voice trembled. "Why's the sky burning?" Jace didn't answer. He dropped the pitchfork and bolted for the house. "Inside. Now!" Liam scrambled after him. Jace grabbed the old rifle hanging over the mantel, loaded it with practiced speed, and flipped open the comms panel. Static hissed. He switched to emergency frequencies. Nothing. No patrol chatter, no fleet pingbacks. Silence. Then came the shadow. A warship, massive and jagged like a blade, tore through the clouds, blotting out the sun. Its black hull shimmered with crimson energy. The sight alone sent a chill crawling down Jace's spine. Liam clung to his leg. "What is that?" Jace chambered around. "Trouble." The colony's sirens wailed, shrill and desperate. His comms crackled at last, Mayor Calder's panicked voice. "All colonists. Take shelter. Unidentified fleet incoming. Repeat." A flash lit the distance. Explosions thundered across Eden 9's northern ridge. Plumes of smoke curled skyward where the ore depots used to stand. Jace's grip tightened. He'd seen precision strikes before. Whoever they weren't here to talk. He knelt to Liam. "Go to the bunkers. Find your mother. Don't stop for anyone. Understand?" Liam's lip trembled, but he nodded. "What about you?" Jace ruffled his hair, forcing a steady voice. "I'll be right behind you. Go." The boy ran, darting through the rows of wheat as the first dropships broke atmosphere. Jace watched until he vanished, then turned toward the fields, and the descending invaders. The alien transports slammed into the earth, carving craters into the farmland. Ramp doors hissed open, and out marched armored giants, 8 feet tall, plated in obsidian exosuits. The Drak'Thul. He'd heard the name whispered in trade hubs, a warrior empire that crushed resistance with brutal efficiency. They'd never bothered with fringe colonies before. One of them raised a cannon, its voice booming through a translator grid. "Primitive humans of Eden 9, it declared. You belong to the Drak'Thul Empire. Kneel, or be purged." Jace spat in the dirt. "Hell with that." He slipped through the farm's irrigation ditches, using every contour of the land he'd tilled for years. The aliens spread out, scanning buildings and shouting in their guttural tongue. They didn't expect resistance. Good. Jace reached the old stone bunker hatch. Inside, a dozen colonists huddled, faces pale, eyes wide. Mayor Calder clutched a radio. "Jace! They cut our comms. We're blind." "We don't need comms," Jace replied, pulling open a crate. Inside lay equipment he'd sworn he'd never use again, military gear, relics of another life. He strapped on his old tack vest, slung spare magazines, and checked his blade. The others stared. Calder blinked. We're Army." "Special Forces," Jace muttered. "A long time ago." Another explosion rocked the ground. Screams echoed outside. "They're rounding people up," someone whispered. Jace's jaw clenched. "Not if I can help it." He moved fast. Years of muscle memory took over. Crawling along the wheat rows, he studied their formation, sloppy perimeter, heavy reliance on scanning tech, minimal ground sense. Arrogant. He dug into the earth, cutting irrigation lines until water surged through the ditches. He ripped open a fertilizer tank, letting chemicals mix with the runoff. Then he waited. When 2 Drak'Thul soldiers lumbered past, their sensors failed, scrambled by wet soil and chemical interference. Jace popped up from the trench, rifle steady. 3 rounds. 3 hits. Both aliens collapsed, armor sparking. He dragged their bodies into the ditch, stripped a plasma pistol, and smiled grimly. Let's see how your toys work. By nightfall, he'd hit 3 patrols, disabled their comm beacon, and booby-trapped half the field with improvised explosives made from old silo charges. The aliens began to grow uneasy. Jace overheard one through its translator grid. They are untrained. How are they killing us? The other snarled. They are prey that bites. Jace smirked. Damn right. He returned to the bunker briefly. Liam clung to his leg. Marin, his wife, hugged him fiercely. They're calling it in from orbit, she said, trembling. Said if we don't surrender, they'll burn everything. Jace looked at the colonists, farmers, mechanics, a few retired miners, none trained for war. Yet every face held the same stubborn fire. He chambered another round and spoke clearly. We're not surrendering. They want our farm? Fine. We'll show them what happens when you corner wolves. As he stepped out, plasma fire lit the horizon. The Drak'Thul flagship descended lower, its engines howling. Jace crouched in the wheat, eyes fixed on its silhouette. He keyed his stolen alien pistol and muttered, "You wanted a fight? Welcome to Eden 9." And pulled the trigger on his first trap. The night exploded. The explosion tore through the night, scattering fire across the wheat fields. Drak'Thul soldiers roared in confusion, their towering silhouettes flaring under the blast's glow. Jace crouched low, eyes fixed on the chaos, pulse steady. The first trap worked. He keyed his comm to the bunker frequency. Phase 1's live. Get ready. Mayor Calder's voice crackled back. Phase 1? How many phases are there? As many as it takes, Jace replied and killed the line. By dawn, smoke covered the valley. Alien patrols fanned out in tighter groups now, scanning every ditch and silo. They moved cautiously, good. Caution slowed them. Jace lay prone on a ridge overlooking the irrigation canals. His rifle rested on a dirt mound, barrel steady. Below, 3 Drak'Thul marched single file through the mist. He squeezed the trigger, one fell instantly. The other 2 turned, confused. Their helmets glowed faintly, processing angles they didn't understand. A sudden whine filled the air, then a drone swooped overhead. A crop monitoring drone Jace had refitted overnight. It carried a tank of fertilizer mix and a sparking detonator. The aliens fired upward too late. The drone crashed into them, detonating in a bright flash. Jace grinned. Welcome to farm country. Back at the bunker, he briefed the colonists. The room smelled of sweat and fear, but their eyes sharpened with each word. We fight on our ground, he said, pointing at a crude map scratched into the dirt. They've got numbers, armor, air support. We've got fields, machinery, and grit. That's enough. A miner named Rourke spoke up. You want us to face those monsters with tractors? Jace locked eyes with him. No. I want you to hit their supply lines. Rig fuel silos. Cut power relays. Bleed them dry. We don't win by meeting them head-on. Marin, calm despite the tension, handed out crates of tools and salvaged alien pistols. If you can lift a wrench, you can fight, she said firmly. A murmur of determination rippled through the room. That night, the second wave began. Jace led a team through the orchard under the cover of darkness. The branches shielded them as they approached an alien convoy, 2 armored transports flanked by guards. He signaled silently. Rourke rolled an old irrigation pump, now packed with explosives, downhill. It clattered against the transport's side. The aliens laughed, until the detonator lit. The blast shredded metal, knocking troops sprawling. Before they recovered, humans surged from the trees, firing plasma pistols and rifles. Push them! Jace barked, blasting one square in the chest. The skirmish lasted minutes. When it ended, the humans had weapons, rations, and alien comm gear. Back at the bunker, they spread the loot across a table. Marin examined a plasma rifle, impressed. How do they underestimate us this badly? Jace loaded a fresh cell. Empires always do. They think strength is armor and size. Ours is brains and stubbornness. Mayor Calder frowned. What happens when they bring down their fleet guns? They won't, Jace said flatly. Not while their ground troops are still here. They're arrogant. They want us alive enough to humiliate. He looked at the stolen gear, then at his people. Let's turn that arrogance against them. 2 days later, Drak'Thul soldiers were paranoid. Their comms glitched. Their ammo crates went missing. Patrols vanished in ambushes. Jace watched through binoculars as alien engineers clustered around a power node. Their translator bots crackled. Humans are sabotaging everything. They fight like. The feed cut off in static when a fuel line ruptured and fire swallowed the node. By nightfall, Jace's plan escalated. Using stolen tech, they jammed alien scanners, hiding in electromagnetic dead zones they created across the fields. They converted harvesters into armored rams, bolting steel sheets across the fronts and mounting alien rifles on top. When Rourke saw one roll out of the barn, he whistled. You just built a tank out of a harvester. Jace smirked. Field engineering. The next assault came fast. The Drak'Thul deployed heavy walkers, 3-story siege machines. They stomped through wheat like it was grass. Jace didn't flinch. He lured them straight toward a patch he'd soaked in fuel hours earlier. When they reached the center, he shot a single flare. Flames roared skyward. Walkers toppled. Screaming alien crews scrambled free only to be cut down by precision fire. One alien officer snarled in its guttural language, translator broke in mid-phrase. Jace heard enough to know it was panic. The humans gathered in the bunker afterward, exhausted but alive. Mayor Calder stared at the growing pile of alien helmets. They'll retaliate harder. Good, Jace replied. That means they're bleeding. Marin squeezed his shoulder. You can't keep this pace forever. He met her gaze, calm but iron-willed. We won't need to. One final push, and they break. That night, Jace intercepted an alien transmission. Lord Karth's voice thundered across it. You have 48 hours to surrender or Eden 9 burns from orbit. Jace smirked coldly and spoke into the mic. 48 hours? Plenty of time. He cut the line, turned to his people, and said, Get ready. We hit their command post next. The room went silent. Then Rourke grinned. About damn time. Outside, Jace looked up at the alien flagship glowing in the sky. He whispered to himself, You wanted wolves? Now you'll see teeth. The wheat fields swayed in the wind, hiding every trap, every explosive, every plan already in motion. Tomorrow, the hunt would end. The night before the assault was silent, tense, and electric. Every colonist who could hold a weapon gathered in the barn-turned command post. Maps lay spread across work tables, alien rifles stacked beside homemade explosives. The smell of fuel and scorched wheat clung to the air. Jace stood at the center, pointing at a crude layout of the Drak'Thul command post, an armored hub near their landing site. This is it, he said, voice steady. We cut their head off, the rest collapses. We won't get another shot. Rourke leaned forward. And if it goes wrong? Then we make sure they regret setting foot here, Jace replied flatly. Marin tightened a strap on her chest rig. You're too calm for someone planning to storm an alien fortress. Jace gave her a faint smile. It's not my first one. By dawn, they moved. Low mist blanketed the valley, muffling sound as the colonists advanced through the fields. Harvesters, armored and reinforced, rolled beside them, engines low. The smell of wet soil and oil mixed sharp in the cold air. From the ridge, the alien command post loomed, a sprawling barricade of steel and glowing shields, guarded by heavy turrets and squads of Drak'Thul warriors. Above it, the flagship hovered like a predator, its engines humming deep enough to rattle bones. Jace crouched at the front line. Through binoculars, he studied patrol routes and gun placements. They don't expect a frontal assault, he muttered. Marin crouched beside him. So, we give them one? Exactly. The first shot came from a sniper hidden in a silo tower, a plasma bolt that tore through a sentry's helmet. Before the others reacted, drones swarmed overhead, dropping fertilizer bombs mixed with stolen plasma cells. Explosions blossomed across the perimeter, ripping open defenses. Move! Jace shouted. The harvesters roared forward. Farmers inside yanked levers, spinning mounted guns and cutting down alien troops. Rourke's machine slammed into the outer gate, shattering it wide. The colonists poured through the breach, weapons blazing. Plasma fire lit the dawn in brilliant arcs. Screams of alien shock cut through the air. Inside the command post, the fighting was brutal and close. Jace kicked open a steel door, shooting a Drak'Thul officer at point-blank range. The alien staggered back, collapsing over a console sparking with static. He keyed his comm Calder, status. North side secured. Calder's voice crackled. Rourke's taking out their fuel depot. Good. Lock it down. No survivors. Jace advanced deeper, Marin covering his flank. They moved room to room, clearing with military precision that left even the seasoned miners speechless. In the central chamber, Lord Karth waited. The Drak'Thul warlord stood towering and armored in jagged black, plasma halberd glowing in his hands. His deep, guttural voice filled the chamber. Human. He stepped forward, teeth bared in a grin. I expected a general, not a dirt scratcher. Jace leveled his rifle. Surprise. Karth lunged, slamming the halberd down. Jace rolled aside, firing 3 quick shots that glanced off the alien shields. Marin flanked left, but Karth swept her aside with a brutal swing. She hit the wall hard, breath knocked out. Jace dropped his rifle, drew his blade. Steel met plasma with a sharp hiss. Sparks danced as he parried blow after blow, muscles burning. You should have stayed in your fields, Karth growled, pressing forward. Jace gritted his teeth. We are in our fields. He ducked low, twisted, and drove his blade into Karth's knee joint. The alien roared, staggering. Jace didn't hesitate. He ripped a stolen plasma grenade from his belt, thumbed the activator, and shoved it against Karth's chest. Harvest time. The blast hurled Jace back as the warlord disintegrated in a storm of blue fire. Jace staggered to his feet, ears ringing. The command center's alarms wailed. Above, the alien flagship shuddered as its systems went dark, the command uplink severed. He hit his comm Calder. Broadcast this galaxy-wide. Let every system see it. Screens across the alien facility flickered, transmitting footage, the Drak'Thul's dead warlord, humans standing over his body, and Jace's steady voice. Eden 9 stands. Come again, and you won't leave alive. Outside, the battlefield was theirs. Alien troops dropped weapons and fled toward extraction points, only to be met with sniper fire or captured by furious colonists. The flagship above disengaged, engines burning as it fled orbit, retreating under a storm of jeers and gunfire. Rourke laughed over comms. They're running. The strongest empire in the galaxy just ran from farmers. Cheers erupted across the valley. Hours later, the survivors gathered on the ridge, staring at the rising sun over blackened wheat. The fields bore scars, craters, smoke, twisted alien wreckage, but the colony stood. Marin leaned against Jace, exhausted but smiling faintly. We actually did it. He rested an arm around her shoulders. No. We survived it. Now we rebuild. A captured alien prisoner, bound at their feet, stared in disbelief. Humans are relentless. Jace met its gaze, voice calm. We're farmers. We don't quit. You plant, you tend, you fight off pests. You protect what's yours. He tilted his head toward the burning horizon. And when someone tries to burn it down, you make damn sure they don't come back. The alien shuddered. The colony's comms pinged alive at last. Messages poured in, nearby systems, distant human outposts, even neutral alien traders. Word of Eden 9's defiance was spreading fast. Mayor Calder turned to Jace. "You just painted a target on us." Jace smirked. "Good. Let them come. They'll find out Eden 9 bites." Above them, the retreating flagship vanished into the stars, carrying one clear message back to the Empire: humanity wasn't prey. Not anymore. And for the first time in centuries, the galaxy would fear wolves again.